No one in the class of 27 ever expected this. The male character was actually a guy. But that wasn't even the craziest part. Their octopus teacher, Koro-sensei, was terrified of water. That was his biggest weakness. Once Terasaka learned that, he immediately made his move. Back in class, everyone was talking about motorcycles. Koro-sensei wanted to try riding one, but Terasaka kicked the bike over in disgust. Everyone told Terasaka to apologize, but he didn't feel the slightest remorse. Instead, he whipped out a can of bug spray to vent his anger. He even ignored Koro-sensei's warnings. Karma spoke up. If you hate him that much, just kill him already. After all, assassination was fair game in this class. Terasaka hated hearing that. Muttering to himself, he planned to beat Karma up later, but he was immediately shut down. Terasaka was the kind of guy who only bullied the weak. Being the villain was easier for him, and honestly more fun. That night, he teamed up with Shiro again. As long as Terasaka followed the plan, Shiro was confident they could kill Koro-sensei. The next day during class, Koro-sensei started itching like crazy. His nose wouldn't stop running. When Terasaka walked in, he instantly got blasted in the face. Turns out, the bug spray he threw yesterday was actually Japanese cedar pollen. The pollen slowed Koro-sensei down and drained the mucus he relied on. Seeing the pollen work, Terasaka called the whole class to meet by the mountainside pool. The class jumped into the pool on his signal, just to give him a chance to strike. Koro-sensei stared in confusion. How exactly are you planning to kill me? Last night, Shiro had given Terasaka a flare gun. Once he fired it, Shiro would order Itona to finish Koro-sensei. But the gun in Terasaka's hand wasn't a flare gun. It was a detonator. The barrier exploded instantly. The entire class went flying toward the cliff. Koro-sensei had no choice but to launch his tentacles and rescue everyone mid-air. But his tentacles kept soaking up water. Combined with the mucus he had already lost, Koro-sensei was now defenseless against water. Karma showed up after hearing the commotion, but Terasaka just stood there in shock. When he started shifting the blame again, Karma dropped him with a single punch. Terasaka always thought he was strong. Back in elementary school, he ruled through violence, but that trick didn't work in middle school. Here, kids only cared about grades. After being dumped into class 3E, Terasaka assumed everyone here was trash, but then Koro-sensei showed up and gave the class a goal: assassination. Meanwhile, Shiro had been manipulating him for a whole year. Koro-sensei was still trying to save everyone, and then Itona ambushed him. Koro-sensei's limbs stiffened on contact, and Itona pinned him down completely. With more students dangling off the cliff, Koro-sensei had no choice but to split his focus. Seeing that, Terasaka tried to redeem himself. Karma came up with a dangerous plan. Terasaka didn't hesitate for a second. He dove straight into the water. Itona's tentacles shot out instantly. Terasaka wrapped both arms around them and held on with everything he had. Suddenly, Itona started coughing. Terasaka's clothes still had pollen on them. Itona was completely compromised. The rest of the class jumped into the water and soaked Itona from every angle. He shared the same weakness as Koro-sensei. Shiro finally surrendered. He and Itona retreated in defeat. After this brutal fight, Terasaka finally became one of the boys of class 3E.